it's Jan, aka Urban Gypsy Crochet at times, when I have a shop, which I don't at the minute, but that's by the by. No idea what I'm going to chat to you about. I finished the other shawl, can't show it to you because it's on the line. Drying or blocking, or my version of blocking, whatever you might call it. Anyway, what have I got to say to you today? Well, not a lot. It's actually quite a sunny day today, but I got up so late that it was a bit, hello, it was a bit late to do some washing, so I didn't. Oh, I've got a message, Sunday morning live with Jeanette. Yeah, well, I won't be watching that, will I, because I'm doing this one. No idea where the family is, they've all disappeared. But I didn't get up till very late. I've been suffering with my back. I hate to moan about health issues, but ever since I went to Yarndale, you know, on the, it jogged me back. So I've been bravely being a hero, you know, not taking my painkillers, and I'll stick it out. Anyway, last night I thought, enough, 2 strong painkillers, in bed, whatever. So consequently, I slept through everything. I got up this morning and I'm all alone. They've gone out somewhere and I know not where. I've just been catching up with some videos, trying to watch up, yeah. So I'm crocheting away with, I've started another shawl, only done that much so far, with one of the cakes from eBay. I'm using a pattern that I got from Vicky Brown when I was at Yarndale. That one. No idea what it's going to turn out like, so it doesn't really show you. I remember thinking it was nice when I was at Yarndale. Anyway, I'm happily crocheting away, watching videos, watching Kim, Blue Cherub. And then she goes, "It's all your fault or something, Jan." You went, and I'm like, what, eh? Apparently, because I've been buying all these cakes in different colours from eBay, I made her, forced her to go and have a look. So she bought 4 cakes. So sorry, Kim, if you weren't intending to buy them, so sorry. But they're very fine, by the way, and they're a little bit splitty, but you know, if you persevere. Anyway, what have I been making? I've actually, besides finishing that shawl, which I can't show you because it's blowing on the line, blowing in the wind, you know, like Peter, Paul and Mary, yeah. I've actually made headband. Why is it looking that colour? It's actually blue, that blue and lemon. It looks dark there, doesn't it? I just made a long strip in like, what did he call it? Front post crochet, that's it. To make it look like a rib effect, yeah. No pattern for it, I just did it, yeah. And sewed it together with like a knot front, yeah. And then I made another one, which I'm not as keen on, because it's a bit plainer, but still. Yeah. So I did manage to get 2 out of the one ball of the, I think it's Signet Sparkles Chunky, I think it was called. I've got the label somewhere along the line if you're more than interested in. So that's really all I've got to say. The only thing that came to my mind was I run out of ideas on what to do for videos, so I was wondering if you wanted to ask me any questions. Not boring questions like what's my favourite hook, you know, a little bit more, you know, and not my favourite colour, because that's obvious to anybody who knows me. What is my favourite colour? But if there's anything you've ever wanted to ask me, you know, provided it's not too personal, of course, you know. But, yeah, but a little bit more interesting than what's my favourite hook size, you know. I've seen some of the 20 questions, and some of them are frankly a little bit boring, you know. Yeah, it doesn't matter if there's not 20 questions, but just something that gives me something to like, answer. If there's something you've always wanted to know, and I've never dealt with it, you know, just put a question underneath in the little boxes underneath, you know, the comment box. Oh, I've got I cut a bit off my fringe, but I've obviously forgotten a bit there. I'm not a very good hairdresser, as you can no doubt tell by the way my hair is today. It's Sunday, that's all I can say. Sunday's casual dress down day, isn't it? You don't get dressed up or anything like that. I was going to go into the shed to look for various items ready for, you know, this craft fair we're doing, me and my friend are going to do later. I've got things I need to find, like I've got some keyring, you know, and bits and bobs and things like that I'm going to use for various. I've got things in my head that I'm planning to do, as we mentioned, not the dreaded washcloths, but or the towel choppers. But you know, the things I've got in the head, yeah, ready to think of something to make. I know it sounds a long time off, but it's November 19th, and it's not that long really when you think about it, is it, when you start doing things, yeah? Anyway, I've not been doing a lot. As you know, my scooter broke down. I think I told you that bit, didn't I? So I'm waiting to hear from my scooter man as to whether I can have a scooter with a canopy, because I'm absolutely fed up of getting wet through. I know this week has not been, you know, like they've been having in America, but we have had the tail end of Hurricane Ian, and it's been bringing high winds and lots of... It's not so bad if the rain comes straight down, but here, because we're so near the sea, the rain comes sideways, so you get sort of wet through from all angles, if you know what I mean. When you're on your scooter driving along in it, it seems to hit you harder than usual. And umbrellas are a bit of a waste of time, because you're like holding on with one hand to try and steer and holding on your brolly with the other. And then the wind's blowing the brolly inside out, so brollies are not a good idea. And I've got a cape, I think I told you, I've got a hooded cape. My friend's just bought the same one, and she just put on Facebook that she's absolutely been sort of wetting herself laughing at herself wearing it. And I said, I did warn you. That it is like being enveloped in purple, and the hood keeps falling over my face, which isn't a good look. Especially when you're trying to drive down and you have to keep trying to put the hood back every 2 minutes to see where you're going. Yeah, I think I need a canopy, I've decided. So I am hoping, please keep your fingers and toes crossed for me, I am hoping that, you know, when he rings me up, he's going to say, yes, you can have one with a canopy. I know I can have a canopy fitted to this one I've got, but why should I buy a canopy to get fitted on this one when I've only got 12 months left on my contract, yeah? And then I wouldn't want to give them the scooter back with the canopy fitted, would I? So, whatever, yeah. Now I'm getting dry mouth. I have to use... It's water, by the way, it's not gin. I don't like gin. It's supposed to keep your water cool, which it does in normal circumstances, but it's been sitting on my coffee table for about a day and a half, so it's a bit lukewarm. Yeah, I've just printed off another. It's a free, you have to excuse the colour of the pattern because my printer's running out of ink again. It's a yarn inspirations, I'm sure it's a free pattern. Skill level easy, be a friend shawl. That's one I might do at a later stage. Although I'm getting to the stage where I think I should be making other things besides shawls. Excuse me. Still got the cough. Can't get rid of that. I can't think what else I was going to tell you. It's going to be a very boring video, this, isn't it? Hence I need some ideas, like, what would you like to know about me? Besides the obvious ones that you already know, because if you've been following me forever and a day, you've been with me through all the wrinkles of my life, yeah. I've got plenty of them, by the way, yeah. Don't zoom in. Don't put me on your telly, please. I know, somebody sent me a picture once. We are watching you on the TV, and they had this massive screen TV, and I'm like, oh, no, please, no. Look at me on your phone when I'm about that big. I might look nicer. I'm not particularly vain, but you know, seeing me wrinkles on the big wide screen is not the best thing in the world, is it? It's not exactly good for your morale, is it? Yeah. Oh dear, I have, like I said before, I've no idea where the family have gone because all the cars are here. So they've either gone on the tram somewhere or they've walked somewhere, but they've been gone out an awfully long time, especially because they've taken both the dogs. And it's gone past Trixie's lunchtime, which Trixie, you know, she's a little bit of a food hog. For those of you who watched me live last night, my son did get the fire going eventually. Of course, I got a lecture on, you are not watching what I am telling you. You're not listening to what I'm telling you. You're not watching what I'm doing. I told you to leave the fire open a little bit to get a draw. Don't leave the door wide open because that won't make it whoosh. I think myself the wood was a bit wet, but we won't go into that now. I'm going to have to learn how to do this fire on my own because I'm a bit clueless, really. I mean, when I was a kid, I used to light the fire. But my mum used to always have had it prepared. You know, it was always like screws of newspaper. And we didn't have firelighters back then. You know, these little cube things that you put on. It was screws of paper and little splinters of wood. But it was oily firewood, which they don't have now. We used to have oily firewood. So you'd put the oily firewood on top of the paper screws. I mean, when I had nothing else to do when I was a kid, you know, and I'm bored. My mother would give me a newspaper, start rolling up. You roll up a page like that and make it into a knot, like a screw, yeah. So I used to get, you know, you could never say you were bored in my house. Never. Otherwise my mother would give me something to do. I mean, kids today, I'm bored, I want a toy, I want to watch the videos, I want to watch... You daren't say that when I was a kid. No, you got something, don't do that, and you're like, I don't want to do it. You said you were bored, do it. My mother wasn't cruel. I won't say she was cruel because she wasn't. But she was very much of the old school, like, you know, the devil makes work for idle hands. You know, you don't sit there doing nothing. You either read a book, you draw, or you do some housework. You weren't allowed to just sit, like, you know. And we didn't have a TV back when I was tiny. We got a TV for the coronation, which was 1953, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, 52, 53. But even then there was nothing on it. It was a little black and white telly, 9 inches square. One programme, BBC One. And that used to actually go off. It was the children's programmes. And then it went off about 6 o'clock, I think, for an hour while the kids went to bed. And then it came on again with some programmes for adults. And then, I think it was either 11 o'clock or midnight, we got the epilogue, where we had this little poem read out, or not a poem, a verse out of the Bible was read out, yeah. And then it went off, and it was just like white noise then going zzzz. And then it didn't come on again. I'm not sure whether it came on again about lunchtime for an hour with Watch with Mother, because I can remember vaguely watching things like Andy Pandy or Muffin the Mule, yeah. But there was no 79 channels and all this Netflix, Sky, whatever you want to call it, was none of that. And definitely no cartoons for children. We just went out and played, you know. That was our, you know, go out, it's a nice day, go on, out. I mean, when I was little, I had to play right near the house, admittedly, you know. There was like a little backyardy thing, we used to play there. But, oh yeah, there was no, you never had your friends in the house because the house was that tiny. We were no poorer than anybody else. We lived in a tiny little 2 up, 2 down, and we didn't even have a bathroom for ages. We had a toilet out the back. And you had a tin bath that you used to drag in and heat water on what my mother would call the copper. I don't know what it was like a boiler thing. Put water in and it heated it up. And then you did enough water to put in this tin bath where you had you. But I was only talking to somebody the other day and I said we weren't dirty. We used to have what we called a strip wash. You'd put water in the kitchen sink, because with no bathroom. Kitchen sink, you put your water in there. And then you would get your soap and your flannel and you would wash everywhere. I mean, bear in mind I was only a child, so like you stood there in your nothings, you know, and had a strip wash. So we weren't dirty, we were washed every day, ready for school, but you only had the bath like once a week unless you were really filthy dirty and you'd been playing in some way you shouldn't. And then you got stuck in the bath in the middle of the week. But it was a great revelation at the age of about, I think it was 10 or 11. We had a bathroom put in. It was the tiniest bathroom ever in the world. You sort of had to do that to get in it, you know. Because bear in mind we had a 2 up, 2 down. We could only use half of one room to make a little bathroom because my poor brother was squashed in the other half of the room with his little single bed and a table, and that was it. He was full. I don't know where he put his clothes. He must have put his clothes in my mum's bedroom. That's all I can think of, because he'd got no room for anything else. Just a single bed and a little bedside table was all he had room for. But, as I say, we weren't particularly poor. That was just the way everybody lived. I mean, I slept in the same room as my mum and dad until we moved, until I was 11, yeah. But it wasn't unusual. You know, I wasn't on my own in that respect, you know. I remember going to a friend's once when I was about 6 or 7. And they had a little bathroom that was like a little partition off the kitchen. And I remember going home saying, "Oh, Catherine's really posh, Mum. They've got a bathroom," you know. But their house was slightly bigger than ours. And I think they were a bit more well-to-do than my mum and dad, so, you know. So this was it, yeah. But I remember thinking we were so posh having this bathroom, because I think we lived in a row of cottage houses. Little, I don't think you have them in America, like a row of houses. Front door, back door, 2 rooms downstairs, 2 rooms upstairs, that was it. And you had a front door, back door, but you were linked to next door, right, in a big row, yeah. But I remember we were the only ones with a bathroom on the whole row. It was the same way when we got the TV. A little 9-inch TV, don't forget, that we were the only people on the row who had a TV. So everybody piled in the house to watch the coronation. My poor dad kept opening the door and there'd be another woman arrive with a dining chair. They brought their own dining chairs. And we were like squashed in like rows at the small cinema. Somebody brought some sandwiches and somebody else had brought something else, you know. And I think at one stage an actual bottle of sherry appeared. And the glasses for sherry back in the day, oh my God, they were minuscule. They were tiny little things. And all the ladies would be sipping them and going, "Oh, I'm getting quite merry," because they weren't used to drinking. Nobody drank in those days. Women certainly didn't go in the pub, no. It was a male-only dominated place back in my youth. If there was a woman in there, you know, like it was, she's no better than she should be. She goes in the pub, you know. Ooh. My mother would have. Like I say, my mother used to be drunk on one tiny, I mean, they were like that shape. They were like that shape. I think I've got some even in there, in the unit. And she used to be sip, sip, sip with this little sherry. We used to get a bottle every Christmas. Was it QC? I think it was, cream sherry. And it was my mother's treat. She used to get a bottle every Christmas. And by gum, she made it last. She would put a little drop in the trifle, but that was only at Christmas. Trifles during the rest of the year were just jelly, custard, fruit, with a bit of cream on the top, that, and some sprinkles, you know, like hundreds and thousands we used to call them, little sprinkles on the top, yeah. But at Christmas, we used to splash out at Christmas. We would have a jam roll at the bottom. I don't know whether you have jam roll in the US. It's like a sponge with jam in the middle that's all rolled up. And she would cut it into slices and put it round. And she would pour a drop of sherry. That was Christmas trifle. As opposed to normal trifle. I mean, nowadays everybody puts alcohol in everything, don't they? But it was a big treat back in the day. Oh, and occasionally she would get a bottle of Advocaat, which is the eggnog or whatever you want to call it. Advocaat, eggnog. Occasionally. I don't know why, because I don't think she ever really liked it. But it used to be a thing, yeah. And my dad was never a drinker until he was, I would say, in his 50s, when he discovered he liked a little drop of whiskey, yeah. But he never went out for a pint, my dad. I don't remember him ever going out to the pub for a pint at all. He just, I don't suppose we had the money, to be quite truthful, yeah. And I don't remember him ever having a drink at Christmas. I don't remember him, well, there weren't cans back in the day, I don't think. Bottle beer it would be. But I don't remember him buying bottle beer even at Christmas for himself. I just don't ever think he was a drinker. But he did love a drop of whiskey as he got older. Drop of whiskey and dry ginger, that was his tipple. And even then it would be, you know, only about an inch in the bottom of a glass, you know. He wouldn't be like filling it up. Yeah. I can always remember a funny story with my dad. When he got older, they went down to Devon or Cornwall, wherever it is that's famous for cider. And he went in this pub and he said, have this cider. But it wasn't cider like you know it now, which is like a beer. It must have been more like a liqueur. So this guy said, like, you know, the behind the bar, what do you want? Your cider. So there was 4 of them. Right? So my dad said, oh, 4 halves, you know. So this barman looked at him a bit weird, like, and he said, 4 halves, are you sure? So he said, yeah, 4 halves. Don't want pints. He said, just 4 halves will be fine. So when he came to pay, it was like, really? Whoa, you know, that was a lot of money. My dad said when they sat down to sip it, it was just like cider liqueur kind of thing, you know. He said they were all as drunk as skunks, you know, on this. My mother couldn't finish hers. Like, you know, 2 or 3 sips and she was seeing the wallpaper dancing, you know. But he never forgot that. He said, I must have asked for the wrong thing. He was thinking he was getting cider like, you know, like it is today, you know, like where you pour it out like beer. That's what he thought he was getting. But it's no wonder I didn't drink at all. I think I was about 20, 21 before I even tasted. I tasted baby sham, which was like, that was my drink at Christmas. I was allowed a baby sham. Only when I was a teenager, mind, not when I was a kiddie. I was allowed 1 baby sham at Christmas. So when I did go out, when I did start going out with my then, before he was my husband, I didn't even know what to ask for in a pub. And in any case, I was driving, so, you know, I didn't have much. So I did used to have a baby sham occasionally. Or I would ask for a snowball, which was like Advocaat eggnog filled up with, I think it was lemonade or something. And that was why. Because I used to, there was no breathalyzer back then. But having said that, I still knew better than to drink and drive, you know. I knew that I couldn't see. I was drinking and driving. Why have I got another message? What does it say now? Oh, Nicholas Ashbar is having his premiere. He does like tarot readings and what have you got? I must have subscribed to him in the past because I still get the memos saying, you know, he's doing a live. Yeah, anyway, I've been trying to catch up with my lives again. I was saying last night, I'm not being a whatever is. I don't know what the word is, but I do tend to watch videos, you know, YouTube videos from the UK. It's not that I'm against anybody in the US, but I do get sort of, I don't like watching yarn hauls because you're showing me stuff I can't buy. And a lot of the other things, you're talking about things I don't know about, like I've got a coupon for Joann's and Michael's and that. It's all a foreign language to me. So I do tend to watch more of the videos from the UK. hence I was watching Blue Cherub, I watch Crochet Rocks, I watch Not Enough Yarn, Leslie. Who else do I watch? Linda Simpson. She does a lot of knitted socks and things. I'm just trying to think who else I watch. I used to watch Dowie, of course, 24 Karat Crochet, but she hasn't made any for ages. I used to watch Kelly, but she's not made any forever. I can't think of other people I used to watch, but I do tend to watch more people from the UK, and I'm sorry if it sounds as though I'm being whatever. It's not racist, what's the word? I don't know what the word is, I'm sure you'll tell me. But that's the reason why I don't watch a lot of US videos, because I can't get the wool. Well, I could if I paid about 7 times more than you've paid for it, yeah. So, anyway, I did put a link on my Facebook page to somebody called Kerry, who'd made a really good video of Yarndale, because I didn't, as you know, I didn't make a video of Yarndale because of the scooter. So if you want to look at anything, look on Facebook, my Facebook page, and there's a link there to this video that she made. And she must have gone on Saturday, I think, because there was hardly any people in the aisles. When she did do an aisle, because I mean I was like pushing through like this, I couldn't get through for all the people. And also there was a marching band, which wasn't there on the Sunday. I mean, I did get a bit fed up, as I said before, being smacked in the face with a handbag, When you're in a scooter, or when I was talking to a guy in a wheelchair, when you're down there, you're invisible. I mean, you've got wheels, haven't you? You're bigger. You think people would see you, but they don't. They're on their phone or whatever. They walk straight into you. They hit you in the face with their elbow or their handbag, and they don't make way for you at all. They just push past you in front of you, and you're like stopped because you can't go any further. And you're thinking, there'll be a gap in the crowd in a moment. But no, they just keep... So I think I went on the wrong day. I think I should have gone on the Saturday, because it looked a lot less people, yeah. It was too peoply out there, people. So, anyway, I'm waffling now because I've got nothing else to tell you. So if there's anything else you would like to know about my family, my childhood, my years and years in the wool shop, what used to go on there. I mean, if I still had the wool shop, I would have had tons of things to tell you. Lots of things to show you. Because new wool used to be coming in every week. And we used to go... I mean, the reason I think I don't like Yarndale and Woolfest and all these is we used to go to trade fairs. Trade fairs. Superb they used to be. Back in the heyday, it would be in the 70s, the 80s, when hand knitting was... Oh, there was a wool shop on every corner. In every town had at least 2 or 3 wool shops, yeah? Everybody knitted. I'm not saying superb things. Hand-dyed yarn was a thing not been invented, and we used to go to these trade fairs. There was so many wool people who made wool, or distributed wool. Your Sirdars, your Hayfield, your Wendy, your King Cole, you name it. And the trade shows were absolutely fantastic. Absolutely. Yarndale has got nothing on the trade fairs. And they would have all the most fantastic garments made up. All the new yarns that were still to come out would be there. And of course we had 3 wool shops at the time, so they used to try to court our trade. People that we didn't deal with. And I used to freebie gifts. Oh, I used to be going home loaded up with bags of wool. Try this, try the wool, try this new wool. You'll love it, you'll want to stock it. It's, new patterns. I used to be getting free new patterns, jumper full, not one ball. I'm talking about enough to make maybe a sleeveless jumper, but you'd get enough. And crochet patterns and crochet, there used to be abundance of them. Like Mary Quant did a load of crochet patterns. Listers did piles of crochet patterns, all sort of the 60s, 70s vibe, yeah. Gotta go now, people. I'll speak to you later. Bye now.